Hello, my name is Arnold Gwabahizi. I'm a student at College for America, Southern New Hampshire University, and in this video I'm going to talk about mainly the US government. We are going to interview people in the street, and I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions to see what they generally think, like their general idea about the US government, the branches, what they do, and I'll try to gather those misconceptions and then correct them further later in this video. Today is 10th of April 2019. My name is Arnold Gwabahizi. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University. And I'm conducting this interview as a part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in a video I'm working on for a Contribute to Society goal. The interview will be used to create a video and submit it to a College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. This interview information will be temporarily stored in College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
Not really.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Okay, so if you give your consent, may you please read this statement down here.
So I, Emmanuel Rukundo, give my informed consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as a part of the student's academic work.
Thank you. Today is 10th of April 2019. My name is Arnold Gwabahizi. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I'm conducting this interview as part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in a video I'm working on for a Contribute to Society project. The interview will be used to create a video and submit it to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and the College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Please read this statement.
I, Alensho Hirwa, give my informed consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the student's academic work.
Thank you. So the first question asked, what are the three branches of government? Okay, my first question is, what are the three branches of the US government?
I think it's the executive, the legislature, and the judicial.
Okay.
Yeah.
The executive branch, the legislature branch, and the judicial branch.
The three main branches of the US government are the legislative branch, also known as Congress. There is the executive branch, also known as the presidency, and the judicial branch. The Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. So the main role of the legislative branch or Congress is to draft proposed laws, and if those laws are approved by the President and found that they are in line with the citizens' rights by the judicial branch, then those proposed laws or bills become like laws, like actual laws. And other responsibilities, other few responsibilities among the ones of the Congress is like regulating interstate and foreign commerce and controlling taxing and spending policies of the government. They can also confirm or reject some nomination by the President for the federal judges, federal agencies, and Supreme Court, and they also have the authority to declare war. Okay, the second branch is the executive branch, which is composed of the President, the Vice President, the Cabinet, executive departments, dependent agencies, and other boards and commissioners and committees. The main role of the executive branch is to enforce the law. Like, for example, if the Congress has passed a bill, like a proposed law, it is the role of the presidency or the executive branch to enforce the law and make it an actual law, and so that it can be followed by citizens and so on. The judicial branch is mainly composed of the Supreme Court and other federal courts. The justices of the Supreme Court are nominated by the President, and then they are approved by the Senate, just like in the case of the cabinet members. The main role of the Supreme Court is to interpret the Constitution and also to limit the powers of the other branches of the government. So the second question was, what does each branch do? What does each branch do?
Okay, I'm just using this based on general knowledge from what I see all around, because usually the legislature, its main job is passing laws in the country. The judiciary is in charge of the justice system, prosecution and all. And then the executive, that's like the main body, the heading body, which is usually headed by the head of state, the president. It's in charge of governance.
The executive branch is the leadership branch, like the president and all the subordinates he has, and the judicial branch is the justice staff and criminal case staff, and the legislature branch, I think like the people thing, I don't know.
From the previous question, the Congress, the legislative branch, their main, like one of their roles is to like propose a law or pass a law or a bill, so that, and then the executive branch role is to like enforce that bill or make it an actual law. The judicial branch's role is to like see how that law interacts with the constitution and the rights of the citizens. So the three branches, like the Congress, the presidency, and the judicial branch, they are all interconnected, because as you have been seeing in these previous sections, if Congress passes a bill, the president has to approve of it also, and the judicial branch has to see how the law interacts with the constitution and the rights of the citizens. And so, like, it is also in the case of the cabinet members that the president nominates. So, if the president nominates cabinet members, the Congress has to approve of those cabinet members. Just like in the case of if the president nominates some judges, like if the president nominates justices for the Supreme Court, the Congress has to like approve of those nominated members. This is what is known as the system of checks and balances among the three branches of the government. They check each other and then they control, like, so that each branch does not one branch has more power than another branch. They share powers which like allow them to control the powers of each other branch. So the third question was, Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third party? Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third party? Okay, there are Democrats and Republicans as major parties. Can you name a third party? In the US government, there are like two main political parties, which is also known as the two-party system. Like it is whereby like the political spectrum is dominated by two major political parties. In the case of the United States, it is the Democrats and the Republicans. The way it started for that two-party system is back in the 1850s. They were combined, the Democratic Republican Party. But then, with the arrival of the Kansas-Nebraska Law Act, which was allowing slavery to expand over the borders of the United States, that's when the Republican, which was mainly comprised of anti-slavery activists, that's when they decided to separate themselves from the Democrats who are for slavery, and so they created their own party, which is like, for nowadays, the Republicans, they are mainly conservative, which means that they are for lower taxes on people. They believe that the government should not like involve itself too much in people's lives, and that also that states can come up with their own laws based on the beliefs of the citizens of that given states. So the Democrats, on the other hand, they are social liberal, social democratic, and progressive platform party. Their strongest belief is that it is inequality for all in all fronts. Like the Democrats believe that the government should like impose high taxes on the people, because they will use that taxes to protect the people and to protect the country as a whole. And then they believe in equal opportunity for all people, despite of the race, religion, and gender and sexual orientation. So although the US is dominated mainly by the two parties, the Democrats and Republicans, there are also third parties, like which are like generally referred to a third party, So although those third parties like they do not hold a major political segment in the country, they can like influence the elections because like these third parties they like focus their energy, like they focus their debates or their campaigns on some particular issues that some of the citizens are facing, and so these citizens like they can like move to those parties instead of going to those two major parties, the Republicans and Democrats, and so like they can influence the percentage of vote. And so the fourth and last question was, what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law? What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
I don't really know.
I think, first of all, there is this committee members of which proposes a given law, and it is proposed even the judicial branch decides if they are going to propose it in the top branch, the presidential one, and then the president decides if this is.
So basically, like a bill is born, like a member of Congress proposes a law or a bill, or someone else outside of Congress proposes a law, but it has to be like passed by a member of Congress, which is then submitted to a subcommittee. The subcommittee's role is like to hold a hearing with experts, some political figures, and some supporters and opposers of the law to see if they can, like if the bill can be successful, and then if they approve of the bill, they will pass it to the full committee, which will then recommend the bill to the House or the Senate, and then there is a debate that is held over the bill, which regards the amendments and some other laws in the Constitution that are involved with relation to the bill. If the House or the Senate, whichever the bill has been passed through by the full committee, approves of the bill, they pass it to the other chamber. If it was maybe passed to the House of Representatives, it will be then passed to the Senate, and then the Senate, they also have to go through the process again of a subcommittee, a committee, and the debates to decide like their point of view and their support of the bill. If there are any changes made to the bill that was passed to them, they will have like a debate, a conference committee. Action will be held whereby there is a debate between the House of Representatives and the Senate to decide over the format of the bill and whether it has to be passed or not. If the bill is not if they can't come to an agreement on the format of the bill, the legislation dies. But if they come to an agreement, a report is written whereby which constitutes of the changes that are agreed on by both the House and the Senate on the format of the bill. Then the bill is submitted to the President, who reviews the bill and then decides to sign it to become a law or not. If he decides to sign it, then it becomes a law. If he disagrees with it, he can veto it, and then it can be put on hold because the Congress can pass through other ways to make it a law. The other way they can do is get 2/3 of votes from both the House and the Senate, and if they get at least 2/3 of votes on passing the bill, then it becomes a law. So those are the questions I asked to the people. Some people I met in the street about the knowledge on their knowledge on the U.S. government and its political structure, and I provided some clarifications to correct those misconceptions and get people to know better about their government. Thank you.